bread. We are attempting the bread. But I'm paranoid, so we have a thing. See the thing? It's on its side because I replaced the fan. And the fan is I replaced the little angry fan with a slightly less angry fan, which you can hear at this moment. What this gadget is, of course. That's washing out the thing a lot. Maybe if we put it up to it? No, it's still washed out. It's just an LCD, come on. Anyway, that isn't working terribly well. Oh well, I'm a little paranoid, so we're going to be utilizing, there's the bread, you can sort of see it. There, we got rid of the thingy, the brightness, so there's the bread. There's the yeasty thing, some butter. We're using Trader Joe's white wheat flour instead of bread flour and other things, so it will probably be kind of solid. It's basically they called it a milk bread, but it involves an egg, and you substituted buttermilk for the milk, but still added butter anyway, so we'll see what happens. Let's see if this competes with that, so we can show, yes, there it is. I've got a HP Z420 also running on this UPS, but I shut the science down on it so that this thing it was jumping up into the 50% mark on the UPS when it had its heater on for the rest, whatever they want to call that. There it goes again. You can see it. 10. It's on its side because, yeah, the fan was very angry. It's less angry now, but it's still not good. I'm going to be getting a 80 to 120 millimeter adapter, sticking it on the end of this, so that we get off. What I did was replace the Sancool 80 that got washed out too. Okay, now that's reflective. So let's turn off the light. I want to turn off the light there, like that. So that was the fan that was in there. It had a weird plug, so I ended up cutting it off like an idiot. Anyway, it's a perfectly good fan. I just need to put other things onto it. It has either this thing has aluminum wires, or the Arctic fans that I took the other wires from have aluminum wires, because they did not solder well. I just did not want to be buying a crimper and the wire ends and all the rest of it to make a fan adapter. So basically I used a Y cable, because this fan that I'm replacing it with does not have the same RPM and would trigger the fan alarm. This is the Be Quiet 80mm, which isn't very quiet at full blast. You can hear it right now. It's that whirring noise in the back that you can hear. So this is a Be Quiet Pure Wings 2. 1900 RPM it says. Not quite as certainly not quite as fast as this guy. Does this have an RPM number on it? No, but it says 0.38 amps at 12 volts. This is probably 2500 or 3000, something like that, at least. What are you? You are using 0.14 amps, so that's less than half? Yeah. This is 38 and that's 12. Less than half. We'll see. In order to trick the fan alarm, we used I used a little 40mm fan that I had that was quiet. Some ancient ones from a heatsink. So, how is it doing now? Torch. That's what it says, yes. It says rest, which probably means it's warming the water up. I think. Rest. Soft. I'm probably being even more paranoid than I need to be. You could probably run this and the computer at the same time, but we're not taking chances right now. I just want the bread to work and not die, because it'll take about 4 hours or 3. That's what this says, at least. Torch off. 2:57. 3 hours. Less than 3 hours now? Yeah. Anyway, you can see bits of paranoia in my house. We have my router on this ghetto repurposed cutting board thing. Well, it was the top of a cart that was supposed to be a thing from Walmart, but the cart died. So we have the switch, a gigabit switch, we have the router, the bottom, this is the power over Ethernet, which is being supplied by 12 volts. The power over Ethernet provides about 11, it says, 11 or 10. And this is going over our Ethernet line to my hotspot, which unfortunately uses a 100 Mbps uplink port for no good reason. Granted, I bought the cheap one for $15. It was on sale at B&H Photo and Video. Great people. Fast shipping, the works. I wanted a cheap router that would connect to my phones, so I got it, and that's what it is. It does its job, and it hasn't exploded, even though it wants 9 volts on power over Ethernet, and it came with an injector that you're supposed to use, but I didn't, because 11 is close to 9 if you squint. So it hasn't exploded yet. Does it get any? Is it warm? It's not warm on the front. Granted, it's velcroed to the wall. So I have no idea. So that goes over to our network setup. This thing on the bottom here is a DC UPS. It provides 12 volts at 2.5 amps for a few hours. These two objects here do not use 2.5 amps. Maybe they use 1-ish amp between them of 12 volt, so it'll last a little while. It gets its the WAN signal. Well, this is the link to the switch over here, and we have our big computer in the other room, the one I usually game on, even though it's not quite, even though it's a repurposed server board because I'm a silly person. That one goes to our Z420. Does it? Yes. It goes whee, and down the floor to the Z420. The switch. This one on the bottom is our printer, because Wi-Fi printers don't work very well. Anyway, this thing's uplink, the actual internet, comes from. We have to walk across the floor. There's the Z station, currently with soup. It's a mess. I shut things down. Over in this corner, we have, whoops, hands in the way. Over in this corner, we have our, hopefully that's not in focus. I don't want, okay, it wasn't, probably wasn't in focus. Yeah, I'm giving everyone the finger. But I don't want my code number online. Even though it probably doesn't mean anything unless you're a Verizon tech or have access to their software. I'm going to check to see if you can see that, just because I'm paranoid. This thing is our optical terminal. We've got an optical line coming down. Or coming, not down exactly. It's coming through that great big hole in the wall where the cable comes in. The guy was kind of surprised when I said, "Oh, I have an existing through the wall hole." Yeah, it's kind of existing, and like could let a mouse in. Thankfully, that hasn't happened. There's the adapter thing, the ONT, and we have a backups 450, which should hopefully keep this thing running for a little while. I cheaped out on this. I probably could have gotten something slightly bigger. Let me move that Eaton over here so that it supports this and the Z station in the future, if I don't tame the fan. Anyway, bread. That's what we're doing right now. Let's see what the bread says. The bread says 2 hours and 45 minutes because it's still resting. See the elephant? I got this at a thrift store, so yay. Works fine. Just dusted it off for the pandemic. What? There's our UPS again. Without the backlight, this works pretty well. And now we can see the load. That's just the Z station on standby without the monitors on. Because it's not doing anything. And this thing, which is also not doing anything right now.